Get out of here, you stupid bug. I know it's been a little while, a week to be precise. I've been quite busy with certain things, and yeah, so we are just getting around to making another video, even though I have tons that I need to edit. So 100 days of Handyman's being put on a slight hiatus while we kind of try to get a schedule together, because I'm horrible at schedules. So today, finally gonna get around to drywall patches. We're gonna start with a California patch, which we're gonna use for this guy right here. So let's get to that. California patch is one of the easier patches. And actually, let's go ahead and fiddle with the camera a little bit. We're also testing a new microphone. That way I don't feel like I'm hunched over like this the whole time. Alright, so this, we're doing a California patch. So we need a piece of drywall. We're just gonna cut a square off this guy right here. And yeah, I'm tearing up a lot of drywall to do this, but oh well. So we want a square drywall that's bigger than what we're patching here. And we need to move that front sheet out of the way, which means we need to move the pole saw out of the way. Let's make this a little more simpler. Of course, they're still attached. See how much I was prepared for this. More of a just, I got a little bit of time, let's go ahead and try and do this. All right, move that guy out of the way. So, we got our square of drywall here. This is what we're gonna be using to patch this hole that we made a couple weeks ago. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our knife, preferably a sharp one. This one's got an old blade on it, but luckily, I have another one. And we're gonna score the edges here. I'm gonna have just about an inch, maybe some more. Now these California patches, they're very easy to do. And they definitely come in handy when you don't have a backer and it's a small patch. This is not something you want to do on a large patch. So we scored our drywall here. Snap, snap, snappy tomato pizza. And we're gonna peel it right off that paper. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that anymore. And this is gonna really suck if that cheap mud is all dried up. All right, so we got our square here. Next, we need to trace that square to where it's covering this square. Now you can hold it up there and score it with your knife. And don't be afraid to go a little bit over the edge. We have paper here for that. All right, so one of our lines about lined up with our other line. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut that deeper. This one up here. Just go around until you're all the way through. It may take a couple passes. Now if you get you a good oscillating saw, this guy, it's a lot easier. But we want to do it with the bare minimum. just to show that it can be done. And we're gonna even go across the middle here. That way we can break this out a little bit easier. All right, so now our hole is nice and square. It matches our board here, only in one direction though, so we need to figure out which way that is. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so we're a little bit off. We don't want that to be super tight. Because if it's super tight, you have issues getting it in. But that looks like we're getting there. So we're gonna shave it just a little bit more. Because I guess we cut at an angle. Shave it a little more. No, so close, so close. Down here. All right, a little more. A little more for good measure. That's probably way too much, but all right, that should do it. Get all that excess out of there. There we go. Now it fits in there snug, but not like extremely tight. Hopefully this is not ruined. Looks like it's getting there. This is one of those little cheap kits you can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, whichever you prefer. It is not fast drying. I recommend if you're learning how to do this not to use anything that's fast drying until you got kind of a hang on it. But what we're gonna do, take a little bit of this stuff. Ooh, it's actually good consistency. I was not expecting that. We're gonna go around the edges here. Just like that. Then we're gonna take this guy. We're gonna go around the edges of it too. You want to have some squeeze out when you put this in. All right, so gone around our edges here, gone around our edges there. Now let's see if we can remember which way this goes. I believe it was this way. I'm gonna push it in. Nice and snug, nice and snug. And when you got it in, take your cheap little crappy knife. You're gonna flatten it out. nice and flat. Scrape out our excess here. Boop. Get as much the excess out as possible. And we're gonna go over the whole thing. This mud is kind of clumpy. It's not too bad. It's good consistency for practice. Get us a fair amount of mud on there. And if you get an actual putty knife, like a 6-inch knife, this is a lot easier. But we're trying to do it with this little 4-inch that comes with this kit. Use an excess amount of mud. And then we're gonna gently spread it out. Nice and gentle. So we want that patch to kind of flatten out, be less noticeable. You don't want to go over the whole thing because it is going to sink in a little bit. Boop. 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 Nice and gentle. All right, there's our California patch. Now when that dries, you're going to want to go out even further. And with this 4-inch knife, it may take probably 4 or 5 coats. So getting a 6-inch knife and a 10-inch knife will help a ton. But there is our California patch. Now, another type of patch you can do. It would appear that my boys have took my hammer. I don't know whose hammer this is, but it will work. Another type of patch. Pull this away for like little holes like that. Say that's your little hole, or we'll make it a little bit bigger, say someone slammed the door and the doorknob went into the wall. Just like that. Nice. Slammed the door, doorknob went into the wall. You got you a fairly small hole. This one is just for small holes. The California patch, jeez, Pete's, fleas, flies, whatever. California patch will work for this too, but with it being so small, you could even do a drywall sandwich, which is take us a good clump of drywall and put it in the hole there. I want to get as much in there as possible. This might be difficult. This is something that you're going to want to have a real knife for, not one of these plastic doohickeys, but we're going to try to do it with the plastic doohickey. So you got your mud in there. You're going to take you a piece of tape. Let's get some mud on the wall itself too, because we need something for the tape to stick to. Get good, generous amount of mud. Get your piece of tape to go over the hole. like so. And we're going to want to tighten that tape out. Really tighten it out. Then push it in a little bit. And then we are going to go over it with some more mud. You want to fill that pocket. Just completely fill it with mud. Now this is one that I don't normally use. Pretty much always use the California patch. But this is another type of patch. Now that you've done that, I want you to get you another piece of tape. And the reason why this is so much easier with an actual knife is because your second piece of tape plastic knife doesn't like to cut the tape. So we're tearing it instead of cutting it. You always want to pull your tape as tight as you can. Pull it tight. So we got two pieces of tape on there, and they're kind of holding a belly of mud. We're going to go over it again. Let's get it nice, covered, flat-ish. This is not going to get flat because we're using a 4-inch knife and it's just not wide enough. The wider your knife, the less coats you'll need to do, but also the wider your knife, the more practice you'll need. There we go. There's our drywall sandwich. So that'll dry, and that one you probably only need, if you're using this 4-inch knife, probably 2 more coats. And every time you do a coat, you want to go wider. So you go to like the edge of the tape for the next coat, and then the coat after that, you'll go to the edge of that, and that'll make it kind of smooth out. Got our California patch, got our drywall sandwich. Another patch would be the backer patch. This is going to be a fun one. So backer patch, can we see that? Yeah, you can just barely see that. So backer patch, we got a hole here. We need to fill it with something. Backer patch. All right, so we got a hole here. We got us a piece of drywall here, square, hopefully. This isn't really square because I'm just freehanding it. We're gonna cut that out. So this, you definitely don't wanna be doing with your knife because you need it to be quite precise. So I used to have a ton of markers out here. I guess my children have stolen them. So we're gonna do it with a knife, even though I don't suggest it. So backer patch. We're gonna go like this. Take a marker and we're gonna draw where we want to cut this out. That is horrible. That moved so many times, but we're gonna hope that it works. And we're going to cut it out with a drywall saw, not a knife, because you want this to be quite accurate. And yes, I know mine's not going to be that accurate, but it is almost midnight. And I need to post something because I'm starting to feel lazy, even though I'm working nonstop. All right. Boom. Yeah, that was horribly cut. That was one of my worst. But we can make it work. Yeah, we can make it work. All right, backer patch. This is gonna look awful, but you'll get the general idea. At least I did good on that. Just the width. I did horrible. So for a backer patch, you need something to be the backer to screw your drywall to. And this here, we call a Bosch board because it comes from a Bosch dishwasher, but it's just a 5/8 board, scrap wood. It'll work. So we're gonna cut it in half because you're gonna want 2 pieces. So we got our 2 pieces. You're gonna need some screws. Yeah. Here we go. And take our backer. We want to get it close to the edge here. We want it on the outside. Boo. Like so. Take our screws. We're going to screw this sucker in. There's one. Did I know I grabbed 4 screws. There you are. There's 2. There's our backer. Oh! And I need 4 more screws for our actual piece of drywall that we're using to patch here. And then you would just screw it on to those backer boards. And you're about to see why you need this to be accurate, because that gap is not going to fill. It is just not. I'll make it look pretty, but once it dries, it's going to look horrible. You want to be careful not to break the paper. But you want it to be embedded enough to where mudding over it will make the nail disappear, or screw. And for all those Ryobi haters out here, Ryobi diamond grip bit. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. So, I got that. Get this paper out of here because it's just going to cause trouble. Get out of there. I'm going to go over it with some mud. All sides. I'm going to get the mud in there. All right. Next part's gonna be hard with this little guy. So get a 6-inch metal knife. If you're doing this, get a 6-inch metal knife. We're gonna try to do it with this, but really, 6-inch metal knife is the way to go. You can patch most things with just a 6-inch metal knife. We're gonna take our paper. It's ripping in the wrong spot. Yeah, a metal knife would cut it. This is just ripping it. So take our paper, dig it in, and then we want to, oh man, pull it as tight as possible. Tight, 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 tight. The tighter you pull your paper, the less work you're gonna have later on. Then we got a little excess mud. We're gonna go ahead and go over that paper. The tighter you pull your tape, the better it's gonna look, the less work you'll have. And because I don't feel like fighting with this, we're just gonna tear that off. You also want to try not to overlap your paper. In this case, you're probably gonna overlap a little bit, but it's best to not overlap it at all. Pull our paper nice and tight. Take that excess mud we got from pulling our paper tight and go over it. Another coat over the paper. Next piece of paper. This last piece is going to be difficult. Oh, that is just a god-awful tear. Man. Should have searched in the dark for my knife. Even though I wanted to do it like this, this is not going swimmingly. Oh no. We got some dust in our mud. Don't use dirty mud. It'll cause so many issues down the road. So many. So we'll just grab some clean mud. And go over this. Put another coat over top of our paper. Try not to get any more dust. Even though working in somewhat unideal. Alright, so this one has to be cut because it needs to be damn near perfect. So, boop, boop. Let's see. Right there. Alright. Okay. It just tore. It didn't cut. It ain't cut. You won't have that issue if you're using a metal knife. This plastic one is not ideal. But it does come with this little kit. So if you're in a jam and you don't have drywall tools and you want to patch something, you get the whole thing. All as one. Alright. Put another coat over top. Boop, 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 boo. And there we go. And that's going to need a lot more coats. And really, you don't want to leave it like that. You want to leave it smooth as possible. As the smoother you leave it, the easier the next coat will be. And the less sanding you'll have to do. That's that. That's 3 patches. 3 different patches for 3 different situations. We got our small patch, the drywall sandwich, which you could also use the California patch for. Got your medium patch, the California patch. Really, that's pushing it, how big that one is. California patch, you should only go to like 9 inches. That'll work, but it'll take a lot of coats and a lot of sanding. And then we have our backer patch. 3 patches. So, drywall patching, fun stuff. If you want to start a handyman business, learn how to do this, because you will be patching drywall. That is something that you're gonna have to offer. It's just inevitable. I don't do much drywall patching, but I do offer it, and it's something that will make it to where you're more likely to get called. Let's say you're like me and you specialize in plumbing, you get called for a busted pipe. If you can throw that drywall patch on there, you can charge a little extra, and they're gonna have you do it so that it can all get done at the same time by one guy. One guy. If you do electrical stuff, like let's say you're an electrician starting on your own and you're struggling to find work, well, you're going to beat your competition by just offering this. Drywall patching. When you're cutting holes in the ceiling to run a new wire, you can patch the drywall, then they're going to be a little less concerned about the price. Learn how to do it. If not, for starting a handyman business, for saving tons of money on fixing holes in your walls, because $200, $250, $450. But that's all I got to say on the subject. I hope the new mic works good. I hope the mic's working good. This one could have been great if I were sitting at a desk, but I don't want to sit at a desk. So if you learned anything and you want more how-to videos, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, questions, concerns, political outcries, I'll see you in the next one.